back to Between the Ribs with Jonathan Morris on Florida Man Radio.
So Vision Air Farms got the grant. They got the technology, if you will, the program, to start studying their farm application. Now, they have 160 heifers. They farm 1,100 acres. 866 of that is tillable acreage. Then 234 in rented lands. They have their milk parlors where they milk all their cows, their semi-trucks, their tractors, their labor, everything that goes into having a full-functioning dairy farm. And if you watch the news and you listen to Kamala and the new Green Deal, we got to get rid of cows. We're smarter than that. We don't need their milk. We don't need the cows farting and burping and doing all the things that cow do and all their doo-doo and all their urine and all this stuff that is so bad for the planet. We've discussed this before, that the stuff in the urine of a cow and the ammonium and different things plays a vital part of the soil. The manure of the cow and the nitrogen and the different benefits from the manure work back into the soil, helps the carbon intake, the carbon capture.
You can even buy cow poop. Isn't that the malorganite stuff? Something like that.
Yeah. They have, well, a lot of fertilizer comes from cow manure that's been dried and spun, and it's a good source of nitrogen. So, and I believe that's the black cow people. That's some of what they do. But they had this grant under the producer called Your Farm, Your Footprint, which to me is blasphemy. Because Morris Family Farms, our logo is Your Farm, Your Food, right?
Yeah.
And trying to change, they didn't steal that from us, but they're trying to start really getting people to identify, again, another DEI crap whole thing, to make people identify your farm based on your footprint, based on how bad you are as a farmer and how bad you are to the environment, and do we really need you as a farm? But it kind of bit them in the butt a little bit, because after doing the thing for a year, the Your Farm, Your Footprint program, completely paid for by the government and Nestle, it was like a joint venture, and the Farm Dairy Production Companies Association of something, they put this grant together. Now, based on the fact that this farm up here has cows that go out and graze, and then they rake and till the manure in. They rotate their lands. They bring the cows in off their land. They use the waste and the byproduct from the cow, like most farms do. Like, they don't tell you. Most farms aren't out there like, hey, let's just throw everything in the river, you know? Because there's a lot of stuff that farms can use and sell, and the byproduct part. So there's a lot more good that farms do that they don't tell you about because they don't want you to know that. So this program actually showed that this 1,100-acre dairy farm was carbon negative. I mean, that's a good thing. All right? They did this program, Your Farm, Your Footprint, to show how bad farms are and how much they need to change to become compliant.
Backfired.
Kind of backfired them. This farm is so carbon negative. You ready? So the way their infield practices, by rotating cattle, allowing grasslands to grow up, be grazed off, and then regrow, they removed as much carbon from their area of town. It would take the removal of 120 average-sized passenger cars every year off the road to match the same amount of carbon this farm captured.
Mic drop.
So you'd have to remove 120 cars a year, every year, just to compete with the benefits of rotating your cows on a graze, grow farm type structure.
Plus, your cows are eating grass.
Yes, which is a natural solar panel that God gave us. And then when you graze it off, it regrows. There's a whole process of farming is regenerative. That's the way God made it, okay? And if you believe in evolution, the earth has evolved for grass to grow, cows to eat them, digest them, poop and pee, regrow, regraze, reproduce. It's a cycle of life. No matter if you believe in creation or evolution, this is the world we live in. So you'd have to remove 120 cars a year to match their carbon capture. The next thing is, by doing our seeding cover crops, which is very standard in farming, nobody wants their farm eroded. Nobody wants windstorms and heavy rains to wash their soil and their nutrients and their stuff away. So a lot of people, us included, more Standard Farm, we plant cover crops. Like one thing we plant, and it's a multi-purpose crop. We plant a lot of black-eyed peas or purple whole peas because peas, they grow up, they vine out, they cover the soil.
And they last forever when dried.
Yes, basically. But we can pick a lot of our peas and sell them, but then we don't pick them, so peas regrow themselves. You pick the peas and they grow again. You can pick peas 2 or 3 times after you plant them. That's just the way the pea crop works, okay? So we pick them once, and then we let them start to grow again, go back into their nitrogen production phase, and then we mow them off and disc them into the ground.
But they have fruits on them at that point again, don't they?
Yes, but at a point, the cost of labor to pick them and get them to market and sell the pea doesn't offset having to buy fertilizer. So if you take your pea crop after you pick it one time, and then you mow it down and you disc it in, you let it dry and you disc it into your soil, then you don't have to put out so much nitrogen the next time you grow corn or green beans or squash or watermelons, because the peas actually fertilize your soil.
That's amazing.
And again, stuff they don't talk about. A lot of farmers, even huge farmers that people call it big agriculture, they do these things because it increases their profits. But yet in the Green New Deal, they don't mention any of this. Well, check this out. Because of their seeding cover crop operation that they were already doing, we are saving 440 tons of soil from eroding into waterways and roadways. That would be equivalent of 28 dump trucks per crop. So you know the big dump trucks that ride around with dirt in them? So that's 28 dump trucks per crop.
And that's per season?
Well,
or per
yeah.
year?
So depending on,
that's a lot.
So depending on where you're at, like here in Florida, you can get 3 crops out of a season because, our free, especially in the South Florida, some places of the country, they only get 1 crop in before their growing season. By the time you grow something, harvest it, disc it in, till the land, level the land, replant the land, you can only get like 2 crops in before it either gets too hot or it starts to freeze.
Right, that makes sense.
In our parts of Florida, if you're fast and you're Johnny on the spot, you can get 3 crops in normally. So you can grow 3 different crops before you run out of your season. And then we have 2 seasons down here. We have a fall crop, and then we have a summer crop. So we actually, would get 6 over the course of a 12-month year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But that's 440 tons per crop, just by doing cover crops that they already do. All right, being part of your farm, your footprint has actually been very valuable for our farm, and we were really surprised to see how straightforward the data is and how interesting it is to see that we come out as carbon negative. Good for them.
Yeah.
They've got good farming practices, and they have just shown, and the reason I brought this up is because I don't think this pilot program is going to last. Because I think once the federal government starts realizing, hey, the data's in, farms are good for us, farms are good for the environment, farms are good for the planet, this is backfiring on us. We wanted farms to look really, really bad.
So that we can make meat in labs.
Right. So I don't think this farm initiative grant is going to last, because I don't think the federal government wants to fund something that would actually encourage more farmers to farm and the value of farms to increase. So that's kind of the reason I brought it up. I want to see how long this goes. And as public information, you can go to the Farm Grant Dairy Association and Nestle and look at this conservation program of sustainably grants. Suck it. Suck it, federal government. So can we get back to political gods?
Sure.
We just had our voting process, August 20th. Everybody in the state voted, hopefully. Well, all the counties participated. It was a vote day. I'll leave it at that. I'm sure not everybody went out and voted. I was explaining this to my daughter that this was kind of the time to pick your team. So like at recess when you're growing up, everybody's in a group and the coach is like, all right, you're a captain, pick your team. And then you call people out. And then once you picked your team, then you go your team against their team. So this was kind of like the Republicans picking their people, the Democrats picking their people. Some of this stuff overlapped. We had a few judges in there. We had, supervisors of elections in there, different things. So some of the Democrat-Republican ballots kind of overlapped. But if you're a conservative American First Republican and you're tired of the rhino-type Republican regime that is pretty much in bed with the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party's in bed with the Republicans, I was talking to a congressman, that he doesn't even know what to do anymore. He's so disgusted with the system, but he's part of the system. And he actually called me and we spoke over the phone. And he was like, Jonathan, I go up to the Hill and everything you see on TV is true. We fight, we holler, we yell, we call each other names, but it's only when the cameras are rolling. He said, after we vote, after everything's done, after the people who swear to you to your face that they're voting one way go in and then vote a different way. Like we have some Republicans, now that some of this Public Information Act and this Free Information Act, and I may not be saying it the right way.
Public Information Act?
Yeah, but there's
freedom
a
of information.
Freedom of information or something that we can actually, if you do your research, you can find out how your representative is voting.
Yeah, we've been able to do that for years.
All right, well, I'm still new to this.
You're a farmer. It's cool.
got off the tractor and I got off the tractor and got into radio and politics.
Yeah, I know. It's cool.
So I'm playing catch up.
No, that's good.
Just like I didn't know about the thing that you can go to in Seminole County every third Thursday and sit in and listen to your representatives and actually talk and speak and ask them, why are you representing me this way? This isn't what you told me when I voted for you. I'm going to start joining those groups every third Thursday. I may not talk at first.
Jonathan's going to become a mayor.
I'm running for office. Jonathan Morris, 2028. I just don't know which office yet. I got to pick one I want.
I am not your campaign manager. I have seen campaigns and how they run, and that's a lot of frustration and work, and I don't have the brain cells for that.
I think you're too honest.
That may be too.
If I came to you and be like, Heather, look, I know everything we've talked about in the last 4 years, but now I need you to start lying. We're going to change. We're going alt-right, And you'd be like, oh, okay. But here's where I'm going with this. Even and I'll pick on the Republicans, all right? Because I'm a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't know the inside of the Democratic Party. I only know what I see on TV. But this guy was telling me that after all the voting's over and all the hoo-la and the anger and the strife and everything they want to create is over, they go to the galas. And limousine after limousine after limousine and Cadillac after Cadillac after Cadillac and Escalade after Escalade pull up, all blacked out, shinied up, detailed out. Security guards, Secret Service, opening the doors. The women are in gowns, $1,000 gowns. The men are all tuxedoed out. And you walk inside and it's free champagne and free hors d'oeuvres and free steak dinners and free open bar, all paid for by the lobbyist, okay? And everyone in there is together, laughing, hugging, high-fiving, hooking up in the corner, doing whatever they do. Republican, Democrat, Independent, all the same.
So wait, they get along behind closed doors when we don't look?
They love each other behind doors. They don't just get along. They're in bed together. Some of them literally in bed together. But they want us to keep fighting, and they want us to divide us because they know that's the only way to control us. They know if we know they're all together, not representing us the way they're supposed to, we would call for an overthrow of the government and a restart. Fire everybody and let's start new voting. And I'm going to get to this when we get back. We got to take a little quick break. But when you change your moral compass to a political party, it's all but the nail in the coffin. We'll be right back.